Hey guys, so in this episode, I have another amazing interview for you. It's with my friend Dwayne McMurray, aka STEEZUS, who has made a big name for himself on TikTok. I think he's got about 300,000 followers, over 7 million likes. He has figured that platform out for sure. He also comes from the world of professional skateboarding, the gaming space. It's a very multi-talented, multi-hyphenate person. So what I wanted to let you know up front is that we had such a great conversation that it ended up being almost 3 hours. So I got to break this up into parts. I don't want you guys to miss any of his great little nuggets of wisdom and his cool experiences. So this is going to be part 1. It'll be followed by part 2 next week. So for now, enjoy part 1 with Dwayne McMurray, aka STEEZUS. All right, y'all. Welcome back to the podcast. Today, we have a very, very special guest. We have Dwayne McMurray, and you may not know him, but if you do, you probably don't know him by that name. You probably know him by STEEZUS. That's what he goes by. And actually, I did see pretty recently that you changed your Instagram name a little bit. So we're going to get to that in just a second. But for now, we're going to give you a little top liner on STEEZUS here. So, widely known as STEEZUS, he has garnered a remarkable influence in the skateboarding, sneaker, and streetwear communities over the years. I'd say like the years, probably like 10, 15 plus. This is not like a small number of years, guys. STEEZUS has built a reputation as a trusted voice through digital content creation, utilizing his influential platforms to entertain and inspire his audience. He also advocates and raises awareness on the often taboo topic of mental health, particularly from the perspective of a Black male in America. His expertise in content creation and social media strategy has made him a go-to resource for established businesses and brands and continues to extend beyond the digital realm. I'm going to go ahead and plug you a little bit here because I noticed a lack of actual brand names, and I've been seeing you in some stuff lately. So is that stuff off the table? Are we not allowed to say?
I mean, hey, we can talk about whatever. I don't like to.
I
We don't need
know.
to throw things out there. You know,
I know
the
it's
proof
hard.
is
It's
in
hard. I know it's very hard to amp yourself up a little bit. So all right, that's cool. I'll do it for you. So let's see. Newest Ghost affiliate sponsor. Is that right? Longtime regular member on the 9 podcast. Any skaters out there definitely know that. I think I saw you in an NFL like official merch ad. I don't know, man. You're everywhere right now.
Yeah, I've done a couple of things, I would say,
All
in
right, all right. We're
the
going with self-deprecation today. Okay.
no, but I will do this since you did mention 3 things. I will go ahead and
Take
I'll
the bait.
just say, well, yeah, no, it's not just an affiliate. I'm an official athlete with Ghost
Amazing.
Lifestyle, so I have an official athlete
Amazing.
contract.
Wow.
I was a member of the 9 Club Experience podcast. I
Mhm.
walked away from that in March of this year, so
Mhm.
that is something that I hold near and dear to my heart, but that is a part of my past, no longer my present or my future.
Mhm.
And the NFL commercial that I did was not just NFL merch, it was directly with the NFL for their biggest campaign of the 23-24 season for NFL Shop.
Wow. So basically, you are getting national awareness here, because I mean that has to be running in a lot of NFL games, NFL Network programming. Like that's huge. And you've been
Yeah,
at this for a minute, friend. You've been at this for a minute. Like you've been in LA
yeah.
for what, 11 or 12 years?
It was 12 years as of October 2nd.
Oh my God. All right. All right, Kansas City kid. All right. What brought you out here?
Mm.
Of course, with the ghost tumbler.
Yeah, I mean, I just got to take a quick break to quench my thirst, you
Hold
know?
on with my official NFL hat and my ghost tumbler.
Mm. Oh, this whole thing? Oh, I didn't even, wow. You know, I just grabbed this. I
So
just had it.
unexpected.
Yeah, it was just in the back of the closet. I was like, you know, this would be nice.
Sure, why not?
Okay, no, no. In all seriousness, what was your question?
How did a Kansas City kid wind up in LA? Like, what initially brought you out here? I feel like you've been a multi-hyphenate, like multi-talented person before that was even like a word or a phrase. So I guess what was your catalyst for leaving Kansas City, coming to LA, and kind of starting on this like creator and influencer journey that you've now taken so far?
I think for me, I always knew I was going to land in LA. It
Mhm,
was the coolest place to me in my mind as a kid growing up in Kansas City. You
mhm,
grow up in the Midwest, specifically in Kansas City. We're kind of middle America, literally. So everything around us, it takes a long time for things to come in from the coast. So
mhm,
I was always looking to the West Coast to see what was new and what was happening. And then also growing up as a skateboarder, I found skateboarding when I was 12 years old.
mhm,
So for me, everything, like all signs led to Los Angeles. And I
mhm,
just knew it was just a matter of time. It was never if, it was just when. So I just
mhm,
had to find those moments of opportunity. And just the way I look at life is like you're always connecting the dots. You connect them going forward, but they only really make sense when you look backwards.
right.
So I was just connecting dots to get to where I thought I needed to be to finally have that point of being able to jump and take the leap of faith.
What was that
And
dot connection for you? Was it skateboarding? What was there a catalyst?
yeah, skateboarding was definitely it's always been rooted in skateboarding because that was my
Mm,
first love. So
mm,
the way that I look at it now is a little bit different from the way I looked at it when I was in just like surrounded by the world of skateboarding. But I see skateboarding now. It was a vehicle to get me to where I am currently.
mm,
If I hadn't found skateboarding, I probably wouldn't be in Los Angeles. I don't know if I would have found a way.
mhm.
Knowing me, I probably still would have found a way. However, it wouldn't have been as quick.
Yeah.
So
Mhm,
skateboarding got me here and allowed me to develop the skills and the things that I have currently that I can now transform into so many other areas of my life. So when I look
mhm,
at things and I view them from a perspective, it's typically from the perspective that I gained from skateboarding, where
mm,
when you're trying to learn a trick, you don't know. You're basically taking things out of thin air and you're crafting them together to bring something to fruition underneath your feet. You can
mm.
look at the way other people do it. You can read trick tips and you can do all these things to formulate your own idea of how to do it. But it's not until you get on the board and you try and you try and you try and you try
Yeah.
and you try 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 and try and try again. And it's like you don't ever look at it as failure though. You're just like, I'm learning. I'm figuring
Yeah.
out how to recalibrate to figure out what I need to do correctly to get it right the next time.
Is this
So
the
for me,
Thomas Edison
skateboarding,
thing? The I didn't fail, I found 1,000 ways that don't work.
I mean, if he said it first, then props. But no, I'm just
I mean,
kidding.
I prefer your
But
47 try and try
yeah,
and pass, but yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, but no, truly, I really believe that like it's gonna sound crazy. I don't believe that there is any such thing as failure. You really have to
Doesn't sound crazy.
be delusional. Yeah, you almost have to be delusional in your thinking of like, okay, there is no plan B because plan A has to work. I don't have
Burn the
any other
boats.
options. I don't have any other idea of what could potentially happen. I'm just going to exhaust every option that I have to make sure that this thing works. And it's like, if something doesn't work, it doesn't mean that I'm not right. It just means I'm not right now. Like
Right.
eventually things are going to formulate. And sometimes what happens is thought patterns that certain people have might be a little bit too forward thinking. And it takes
Mm,
time for reality or for the collective to catch up. And I think I've
mhm,
always sort of had that mindset. So when you said earlier, being somewhat multi hyphenate before that was even coined the term, that was just me because that's all I knew. It's
mm,
just if I'm interested in something, I'm just gonna dive in head first and figure out everything that I can about it so I can have as much information as possible so that when the topic of conversation comes up once in a blue moon with a random person that I happen to meet across the world,
yeah.
I'll have something to connect with them about. And like
And
it's never that thought, but it's just like now that I'm older and I'm mature enough to travel and have these experiences and even just like connecting with friends and things and going deeper in conversations, I realize that a lot of the things that I've picked up, whether they be good, bad, or indifferent, have
mhm,
not only just been for me, but it's so that I can connect and share with other people. So in
mhm.
a roundabout way, moving to California was always written in the stars for me. I
Mhm.
never really, like I said, never knew how or when. It was
Mhm.
just a matter of time, and that window of opportunity opened summer 2011. I was out
Mm.
here on a skate trip. Anytime that I ever had the opportunity to come to LA, I was always coming here just because I had friends in the skateboard industry. Because of the crew that I skated with in KC, we had somebody that ended up going pro and stayed in KC for a while. So we had a lot of people coming in and out of the city, which built
Mhm.
up our scene quite a bit. And then just being in the crew and just kind of being that guy. And at the time, I also was sober. So if people were
Mhm.
going to the bars and whatnot, I'm the DD, I'm driving. So then I get to connect
Ah,
with people on a different level. And people have a different level of trust when, like you actually have their safety in your hands. So
right.
it opens people
Literally.
up to have those
Literally.
literally. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So, you get to have these conversations with people that, might be one on one because everybody else is in another car or they're going to the liquor store, whatever it is. So I always got those little moments of opportunity to just connect with people on a different level, which always tends to work in my favor because then when I come
Mhm.
to LA, before I even moved here, it's like, okay, well, now I know X, Y, and Z. And well, shit, I can hit them up. Like we had a good convo and then they're down to bring me and introduce me to their people. And it's
Yeah.
a chain reaction. So it's never intentional on,
Mhm.
I need to exchange this energy to get something from you, but it's just like I
Right, right.
genuinely care and
It's
want to
never
exchange
like a
information.
right. It's not like a quid pro quo where you're like always like had that ulterior motive, like how can I plant a
Right,
seed and reciprocity, and then they'll give something to me if I do something for them. Like I know
right.
that's never your intention. Like, but I will say you are an exceptionally good networker. I think that you're just an inherently good networker, guys. I took this dude to a reformer Pilates class in West Hollywood, and he's too big for the damn reformer. And I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
within like 24 hours, him and like the instructor were like following each other on Instagram. And I was just like, he's such a
yeah,
fucking good networker. Like, and I feel like
yeah,
that is a crucial skill somewhere like LA. So, like, good thing you're already very, very good at that. But I mean, talk about this. Like, you do kind of have to be agile in that way. You do kind of at some level, like, especially when you're starting out somewhere new, small fish, big pond, when you first got to LA, you got to be looking for those opportunities and those seed plantings. And it's not like totally self serving, it's just survival, right?
yeah. I think. Well, first of all, thank you for saying that about me being a networker because that is
You are.
it's something that I think is very natural, but it comes naturally, but it doesn't feel natural. And I say that
Mm,
because I tend to have a little bit of social awkwardness, but it's only in settings where, hear me out, it's only in settings where I'm not familiar with the people or the surroundings.
ah, okay.
Because to your point,
Hmm.
I like to look, listen, and observe. I know
Mm.
that in a multitude of ways, I occupy a lot of space. I'm a big person. I have a big presence. I have big energy.
He's six
Even when
five.
I
If you guys didn't know, he's 6'5". Go
Yeah,
on.
and not like Hinge 6'5". Like I'm really I'm really him. But I think that I have a lot of self-awareness and I'm learning to harness that a lot better now. But I've always had it. I just didn't understand it. I didn't know how to not necessarily manipulate it, but I just didn't know how to control it.
Right.
So for me, when it comes to networking, it's not even really like intentional. I truly
Mhm.
just, like I said, I look, I listen, and I observe. I take notice of the small things. I notice, uh, I notice body movements and just like body language and things that,
Nonverbal.
like nonverbal cues, exactly. All the things
Mm-hmm.
that people don't know that they're exhibiting.
Yeah.
But if you are just someone who's naturally aware, you recognize those things and then
Yep.
you can tap back into it and then you can start to kind of like create rapport with people. And
Yeah.
it's nothing rooted in like, what can I do? It's just like, I want to care about this person. What is it
Hmm.
that they care about? How can I connect with them? And I think
Right.
that is just genuine in its nature and that attracts the right people because
Yeah.
there's no like ill intentions in what I do or how I connect with people or any of those things. Like I've never been someone to operate maliciously on like, what can you do for me so that I can get ahead? I don't
Hmm.
want anything that
Well,
isn't
you're the
mine.
exception in LA then.
And it's unfortunate that you're not the first person to say that. Like, and that's an
Mm,
unfortunate truth, but I like the fact that I now have a platform and I have a community of people that are supporting me and allowing me to highlight those things about myself that I love about myself. Because I've
mhm,
been in spaces before where those things wanted to shine so brightly, but it was just like people were throwing a blanket over the light because it was too
mm,
abrasive for them. So
mm,
now that I get to be my own boss, creative director, producer, I'm doing everything from ideation to putting it out into the world.
mm,
Uh, I get to see the direct. Not only I get to see a couple of things. I get to see what's working and what's not working.
mhm,
I get a direct line of communication with the people that are supporting me. And they're not supporting me because I'm a part of something bigger. They're
mhm.
supporting me because they appreciate me and what I have to provide and bring to the table, which then allows me to shine my light even brighter. So I
Yeah.
got, I've gotten to a place now where I really feel like allowing myself to be vulnerable and express these emotions that men that look like me typically don't express, at least not publicly. Now
Mm,
that I have the platform to do that and I can highlight it and showcase it and be like, yo, this is what it is. I'm not good this week, or today was whatever, or yo, I'm
yeah.
up right now. We win and I'm doing like, but being
Mhm,
able to just like do that and give that energy and then receive the necessary energy back without even having to ask. I'm just putting it out there because
mm,
I get to then edit and rewatch it back, and it's almost like therapy for me. So I say
mm,
all that to say in a roundabout way, it's it's unfortunate to hear that most people don't operate that way, but I
mm.
like that people are starting to wake up. And I hate the term like, oh, I'm so woke, but like people are starting to wake up to the fact that that's not a great way to live. Like,
That's
why are
not.
we you know what I mean? Like what
I
we're people are
do.
starting to see like, okay, I don't want to tolerate this, or I don't align with these things. I want to consume more content that makes me feel good, or I want to be a part of communities that spread love and uplift instead of
Yeah.
just like going on these blog sites that just tear down people and communities and families. And even if
Mm,
they're not intentionally tearing things down, it's just the stuff that they're putting out into the world isn't necessarily the most positive and uplifting,
mm,
and that shit affects you. Like what you consume, whether it be food, media, whatever you're consuming is going to affect your internal like makeup. And
yeah.
there's a lot of stuff right now that's making people anxious. And I don't know. I just feel like we're consuming a lot of the wrong things. So I want to do what I can, at least in my little bubble, to put things out there that spread love and make people happy and shine light and do things that at least take away from the pain that people might be feeling for
So
however
you're
long my
creating the
videos might be.
content that you want to see, that you want to
Literally,
consume,
that
right?
that is 1000% what I started doing when I got into content creation by
Mm,
myself.
mm,
Stepping out from being under bigger entities was I just started looking at the space that I wanted to be in to see what people were doing, how
mm.
I could do it better, and what I could do to create a name for myself that would then attach people's thoughts to me. So
We'll create an association
it's
of
just
that
create.
niche,
There we
that type
go.
of.
There we
Right.
go. Boom.
Okay. Okay. So
Exactly. So I've always looked at content creation from before even
but
content creation was a thing. I've always looked at it from a place of like it's a psychology thing. You got to learn how to tap
yeah,
into the psychology of the consumer. I'm a
but
content creator, not a content
you are.
consumer, but in order to do that, you have to understand how consumers consume content.
That's true. I mean, that's true in terms of just like the behavioral psychology behind content creation. Behind, I come from the world of
Hmm.
digital advertising and marketing, and it's like that
Right.
is so much behavioral psychology and like what prompts
Oh my
people to
God.
do what they do, the decisions they make, the people they follow,
Hmm.
the content
Yep.
they consume. But
I mean, it's little things too. It's even like the colors that you use in the videos and the
mm,
way that you edit. Like, I don't remember where I saw it. I'm sure it's probably on TikTok because that's where we get all the information nowadays.
evidently,
But I
I don't
saw
know. I'm a
something.
geriatric millennial. I don't know about TikTok.
Oh, you're one of those. Damn. Okay. So you don't even know about my life. That's crazy.
No, no, no. I
Um,
mean, I do from Instagram. Well, what was that like thing? Like I,
ex-
I basically watched things on Instagram. 2 weeks later, they were popular on TikTok. I
uh-huh.
butchered it. You know what funny thing I'm talking about,
Right.
right?
But
Yeah,
what
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying, yeah, exactly. You
Like a
just proved my point though.
millennial.
You just proved my point though, because you said, I know about your life because of Instagram. There's like, it's so funny because So this is the first time I'm coming up with this. I guess in real life, I have a whole different life on TikTok. Like you don't like the fact that this interview is happening and you haven't watched my TikToks is actually incredible
Really?
because yeah, Instagram is maybe I'll say like 1/16 of what is going on in my social world right now.
So you don't like repost everything from TikTok onto Instagram?
Absolutely not.
Definitely not.
Absolutely not.
Why is
No.
that? Is it just such a different audience? Is it like there's more growth opportunity here? There's more awareness opportunity here, like brand building?
1000%. If you have a brand, a business, or you are a brand yourself and you are not utilizing TikTok, you are doing yourself and your brand a disservice. I will say that 1000% of the time.
Are you at all concerned about the developer owner of TikTok? We don't have to go that way, but like the fact that it's
I don't give a damn. TikTok is a vehicle. TikTok is not my end all be all. This shit is working right now. So I'm going to use this shit until the gas goes out.
Exactly.
And then I'm going to hop out that bitch. And then whatever's next, if it's a skateboard, it's a bicycle. Yeah, I don't give a fuck. You do what you do. I'm going to make my bread over here real quick while this shit is working, while it's still red hot. And then when people ain't messing with it no more, I'm out. Just like Instagram. Ain't nobody fucking with Instagram no more. Instagram has become, I'm going to keep it a buck. Instagram has become to Gen Z what Facebook has become to millennials. We don't fuck with Facebook because Facebook is like Gen X, like our generation above us and like elder millennials, which we technically fall into. And then Instagram is like millennial, elder Gen Z a little bit, but like low key Instagram has been trashed since they got rid of chronological feeds. So like nobody has really banged with it. And every time they change something, they change it for the worst. It's like, why are you giving us all these features that we haven't asked for when literally all we want to do is be able to see our friends post again? So everybody jumps ship. Now, when you get to TikTok, TikTok is different because it's a discovery app. So the way people use and consume content on TikTok is by the For You page. If you want to equate it, it's essentially the same thing as what the popular page used to be on Instagram. So that's how you're going and you're finding all these new people and you're finding creators and videos. And then the algorithm is literally designed to keep you on the app. So it's going to, all right, this person spent this much time on this video. This video is pertaining to this category. Let's serve them another one and see what happens. Okay, they skipped that one, but we know, okay, they used to watch vlogs. Let's see if we can pull something. That's how it works. So it's like when you tap into this
contextual algorithm, it's just like, let's feed them more of the same type of content that they're already 1000%. Watching. Put a new influencer or account in front of them that matches what they already engage with and consume.
Exactly. So now it's like, all right, boom. If you think of it in the same way, like I just put a video out a couple of days ago talking about like your TikTok is a channel essentially. And every video we put out are shows. And sometimes we have shows that have they do numbers. So anytime I put out a Trader Joe's video, I know I'm banging easily 100K views first day. Like that's something that I know.
Wow.
It's dialed in. I don't have to think about it.
Are you also an official brand partner of Trader Joe's or?
Nah, me and Tradarius, we beefing right now. They
me and Joe, we're not.
They don't see. That's the thing too. Like you don't even know Tradarius' house is a whole thing. You after this interview, you'll go back to my TikTok.
My sister works with the DOJ, and I'm kind of like not allowed to.
Okay.
It's a thing right now. If that ever changes, then I might jump on the bandwagon. If we're still allowed to have TikTok, we'll see how it all goes down the House Judiciary.
Understood. Well, yeah, to bring you up to speed, Instagram, there's nothing about my life really on Instagram except photo dumps. TikTok, I have like 300,000 followers. I do a bunch of hauls and cleaning videos and you are so out of the loop. This is great.
You know what? I'll bet a lot of viewers and listeners are out of the loop too. So why don't you inform us?
They don't know. Nah,
so
I bet you
tell us.
If I read shit, I'm gonna let you. You know what? I don't want to talk about myself, so I'm gonna let you steer the ship again. This is your show. Hey, I'm gonna let you steer the questions. I've hosted podcasts before. This is your turn. I want to be a guest. I'm not driving this.
Okay, well you were, but then you caught yourself with your damn self-awareness. But fine.
Well, I just had to let you know that No. I just had to let you know that I know what it's like to be a podcast host, and I
You
know what the research entails. And sometimes you just got to go a little above and beyond. That's
You
all.
know, I'm actually really glad that I didn't because you're like profound surprise that you're experiencing from the fact that I don't know about your TikTok alter
Mm,
ego life. It seems
yeah,
refreshing to you.
it is. It's great, but it's also I'm like, damn. It's funny because I'm obviously I enjoy podcasting and doing those things. Like I did it for five years.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm thinking about wanting to get back into it in some capacity. I just don't know. I know the angle that I want to take. I have to be strategic about the plays that I make because
Mhm.
I got a lot of moves in motion.
Mm.
But it's funny because this, you and I haven't spoken in a long, like face to face, like obviously in
Not
story
face to
replies and
face
things
for a
like that.
minute,
But
yeah.
yeah, and even this still isn't technically face to
Mhm.
face. However,
Yeah.
it's been a really long time, so it's fun to catch up and kind of like give you shit, but then also know like it's dope to have people that aren't that like you didn't want me to be on here just because you know my shit is like doing well over on that side. So that's actually really refreshing. So that's why I'm giving you shit right now. It's really
Bro, do
dope.
you remember how we met?
Bumble, right?
Tinder.
Was it Tinder?
I think it was Tinder. I'm pretty sure it was one of those dating
I mean,
apps.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not gonna say it wasn't. I just I know.
It was
When
at,
was that? Was that like 2017?
I think it was like 2017. I think you're right. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 2017. We went to EPLP, got shit faced
Mm-hmm.
on like a
Yep.
Thursday, work night.
You
I got shit
got shit
faced.
faced on a work night.
You put me in an Uber home, such a gentleman.
Sure did.
And then I randomly see you at Soul Cycle on the damn Sunset
Yep.
Strip like a week later. I was like, is that?
Yep.
Those rooms are hella dark. I was like, is
I mean, a big black mass walking into a dark
that?
room is still kind of hard to miss.
I suppose so, especially at the West Hollywood Soul Cycle,
Yeah.
where it's a bunch of cute little, mostly white girls.
Hmm.
Sorry to generalize, but yeah, a little bit of sore
No, but
thumb
I
for
mean,
you.
yeah.
Yeah,
But it was also because we went to my boy Chris B. We went to Chris B's hip hop Sunday class,
that's right.
and Chris B is who he is, so he has his he's got his fair share of ladies that like to come to his classes.
Well,
So
I mean, of course, like he's got the $1 million smile, but honestly, I kind of like I loved his playlist, but the cadence of his classes, that dude with the hyper
yeah,
speed shit, like that
yeah.
killed me. Like I'm here
Nah, he
for
know
the
what it is.
resistance. I want the resistance, the manic speed. I was just like, the damn hell, like are we what,
Yeah,
like I honestly did not enjoy that, but his playlists are so good, and he's the one who got me hooked on
right.
Box Union. Then I got into boxing.
That's
It's
right.
been 5 years, and now I coach and I train, and it's like, well, I owe that to
Let's
Chris.
go.
I owe that to
Hell yeah.
Chris. He's the one who
Yeah,
was like, hey,
I was gonna
God.
say his playlists are always my favorite, but you're right. His because his legs are like this big, so they
Yeah, he
just
doesn't
go
have that
real
far to go. He
fast.
doesn't
He
have that
don't have
far
to
to
go that.
go.
He ain't got that far to go. I'm like my knees and stuff are way up here as I'm trying to go, so it's a whole thing. But I
Okay, but
usually
let's actually like dovetail this into the fact that you are a total gym rat now. You are in the gym like
yeah
24/7, 365. And this is why it's so funny to me that you say like, "Oh, you don't even know about my TikTok life." Like I barely post on Instagram, but you put so much damn content on there about like being in the gym and dog pound and I'm bringing all my trainers donuts to get them fat. Ha ha ha. Like
it's
you
real.
do post on there. So like how did that get started? How all of a sudden are you like a total gym addict?
I mean, yeah, that's so the way I look at social media is every platform should be used in the way that that platform was designed to be used. So
Mm-hmm.
for me, I use Instagram to share stories and like daily things that are going on because they decided that they wanted to steal that from Snapchat when like, what was it, 2016 or some shit.
Yep.
So
Yep.
everything stopped going from feed posts to stories. So I was like, okay, cool. If I'm getting, X amount of thousands of views on my stories and my hard posts are only doing so much because the algorithm is only putting it out to like 4% of the people that actually follow me,
Mm-hmm.
I'm only going to really use Instagram for the monthly photo dump and story posts.
Right.
So for me, it was like, all right, I've always been very active. I grew up skateboarding. I found skateboarding when I was 12 years old. Before that, obviously, played like the traditional sports to find out what you like as a kid and go through that whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's just like I grew up moving my body all the time. In 2016, I had had a low back 7 millimeter herniation between L4 and L5, and that
I
kind of
don't know
like
what those are. Okay.
so basically in between your vertebrae you have these discs, and sometimes if there's too much compression or trauma, the disc gets smashed and can cause it to rupture. And then what
Okay.
happens is there's like kind of like gel essentially on the inside that
Mm-hmm.
can leak out and then touch your nerve root, and then that's what causes nerve pain. So for
Mm.
example, if it's in your low back and it's on the right side, touching your nerve root, then that can cause sciatic pain down your right leg. And that's
Mm.
what I had. So essentially the way I would always try and describe it to people was, imagine you took like a metal clothes hanger and you unraveled it, and then you just put it in a fire and you pulled it out. It was red hot, and then you stuck it inside of your leg. That's what it feels like.
Oh, that
So
is a very specific. Thank you for
exactly,
painting that visual picture.
exactly. Now imagine waking up every day for like
I'd rather not.
2 years
I'd
dealing.
rather not.
Yeah, well, that was my reality. So
I'll pass. Thanks.
yeah, you're welcome. I did that so you don't have to. Dealing with some back stuff. But prior to that, I had been in the like gym, but like apartment gym, little gyms here and
Mm.
there, 24-hour fitness, but never really like going hard at it.
Mm-hmm.
But got my back
You mean
situation
not
figured out.
spending exorbitant boutique LA gym prices is what you mean.
I mean, I don't know who's spending that. I'm not, but
Is Dog Pound not kind of a nicer boutique gym?
oh no, it's bougie as hell. Like I literally, what was it? Was it last week? I think it might have been last week. Last week I was working out next to Spider-Man. So it's like that type of,
Which one?
yes, Tom Holland.
You know what's hilarious about that? My old spot in the heart of Hollywood, there was like a 400 square foot studio on Sycamore, Hollywood, right by the Magic Castle. I would go
Mm-hmm.
to, I think it was like Gold 24 hours, one of those big chain gyms. It was right on that corner.
Yeah.
And I would remember seeing the Spider-Man who was the impersonator on Hollywood Boulevard. So that was
Oh
my like
wow.
really grainy, gritty Central Hollywood version of your upscale West Hollywood, the actual Spider-Man.
Yeah. Like it's kind of it's actually legitimately weird because to me it just makes sense. It's normal, but
Mm-hmm.
when I tell people, I'm like, yeah, Sydney Sweeney was in here the other day, like cracking jokes and shit. And to me, when I say it, it doesn't sound crazy. But when I think about
You're
how
so
other people receive it,
you're
I'm
so
so
LA,
LA.
bro.
I'm so LA. Like it's stupid, but it doesn't feel weird to me. That's the crazy thing. Like I know all this shit is just smoke and mirrors. Like we're all just humans. But
Hold
back to the
on,
gym
hold on,
stuff.
hold on, hold on,
Uh,
hold on. One quick sidebar. Last I knew, you were in like Playa Vista. So anybody who knows LA, that is West Side. That is very, very West Side, like pretty close to the ocean. Dog Pound is in West Hollywood. Are you trekking all that way like every day to go to the gym? That's a big deal in LA, guys.
since the week of January 23rd, Monday through Friday, I drive from the West Side to West Hollywood for an hour of weight training, and then I drive back to the West Side.
Why Dog Pound? There got to be closer boutique gyms. Why Dog Pound?
It's about the energy for me. It's
Mm.
more than just going and lifting weights. Um, Literally today, I just hit a new PR on my bench press because we had a conversation that charged me up, and I was like, okay, I can do this. Like it's
Mm.
and that, but that conversation has been, it's been months in the making. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like all of these things. Every time you work with a trainer, it's all personal trainer based. So every
Okay.
session is with a personal trainer,
Oh,
and when I tell you that's essentially like therapy,
yeah.
it it's physical and mental health, like
Mm-hmm.
truly. And the way that I always see it is like I never want to just receive energy. I always want to make sure it's an even exchange. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have to be in the same form, but I
Mm-hmm.
never want to give or take without it being an even exchange. So I think when I
Mm.
go there, it's always an even exchange because they hold space for me to like allow myself to work on my body and the things that I needed to do to get to the frame that I am now. Cause I had a lot of
Mm.
things that I had to correct from past injuries. And then
Mm.
also the way that my body had to sort of formulate itself to be a tall skateboarder. Like I wasn't really designed for that. So I almost had to kind of shrink myself down a bit in order to
Right.
make that work for me. So
Yeah.
in doing all these things this past year, it's been a whole body recomposition, but it's been a structural recomposition because I hold space differently now. My body, my holding patterns are different. I have
Yeah.
more awareness of my body and how to
Mm.
manipulate it, but also how to not close it off. So I
Mm.
think for me, Dog Pound became the thing because I remember when it opened. I want to say it was like 2019, just right
Right.
before pandemic in
Mm.
LA. There's another one in New York, but I just
Mm.
remember seeing a bunch of like skateboarders and things going there, and it always just looked so cool. It looked like a
Yeah.
vibe, and then
Yeah.
I looked, I think it was just like in the very beginning, I looked at the pricing and things like that. And the mindset that I was in at the time was like, oh shit, I'll never be able to afford that. And I just like let it go. I didn't think anything of it.
Mm-hmm.
Fast forward to this time last year, it was like early October um, of 2022. I was at a friend's birthday party. Randomly, just like showed up late. People were already kind of having fun and whatnot. So I just hopped over at the beer pong table. And one of the homies' cousins was in town, and like we just ended up chopping up whatever. We ended up teaming up for beer pong. Long story short, we go undefeated the whole night, so we're basically like best friends now.
Of course.
Uh,
That
and
is so stepbrothers. We're best friends now.
yeah, did we just become best friends? Yep. When I'm telling you like undefeated, I'm talking like 8 games, like not like we just played one or two
Damn,
and it was
bro.
done. I'm talking like people Paul Rodriguez, who is one of the most incredible skateboarders on the face of the planet,
Yeah.
was playing, and he came back twice to try and beat us because he was so
Trying to
like
dethrone you.
upset that we were just like on it. I don't know what it was.
Just
It was just something
sheer
in the
amount of
universe.
time that would take
That's what
8 games of
saying.
beer pong with you
That's
standing
what
there for
I'm
like
saying.
7 hours. Like
I'm like, I'm not getting off this table till I lose or till
my
everybody
nerve
goes home.
sciatica is really kicking right now.
I'm like,
Like,
so we become best friends. We shut the whole party down essentially, like literally stayed because I got there late anyway, so I stayed there till shit shut down. But the homie's cousin that I know was like, yo, Steve's been in the gym lately. Like, y'all got to bring him to Dog Pound with you. I was like, yo, that would actually be incrable. Like,
and this
Dog
was
Pound is
right
low
after
key.
you were looking, or no, this was like 1 year after you were looking at the prices and you're like, nah.
So no. This was last year when I
Mhm.
first found out about Dog Pound. This was pre-pandemic, so this was a
Oh,
long
okay.
time ago where I was like, it was just starting. When I'm talking like bare bones, Justin Bieber's in there throwing tennis balls around type shit. Like nothing was in there yet. So, and
You said
I'm
that
not even
name
trying to
very
be fun.
casually too. Yeah.
I'm, see, I was gonna say like I'm not even trying to be funny. You can go look at the count and see like it's.
Oh my
But
God.
anyway,
Anyway, J
anyway,
Beebs.
um, goddamn. Oh, but at the end of the night, they were like, "Yo, you should bring Steve the Dog Pound with you." And I was like, "Yo, that would be incredible." So we
Mm.
exchanged numbers, and I hit him. This was on a Saturday. I hit him that Monday, and I was like,
Mm.
"Yo, are you going to Dog Pound tonight by chance? Like, could I roll through?" And he was like, "Yo, let me hit him up and see." So he hit his point of contact. He was like, "Yeah, send an email X, Y, and Z, tell me you're going to Vinny's class." Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
So long story short, end up doing that, go there that night, and
Mm-hmm.
the trainer at night happens to be this guy by the name of Vinny Ponti, who is, if you know anything about New York skateboarding, he's like one of the founding fathers from like the 90s of just ill New York skateboarding. So for me, I was already like, okay, dope. I already know who this guy is. I know what he's about. We had connected from my time at the Barracks, which is this indoor private facility and media company that I used to work for back in the day. So
Mm.
we already had a bit of a rapport. We get in there, we start hanging out a little bit more. I'm coming in as many times as I can without trying to overdo it because I know, one, I know how expensive it is, and two, I'm like, okay, I don't want them to feel like I'm doing too much, but I really want to come. So,
Yeah.
I'm just playing it safe, whatever. But I mentioned to Vinny, I was like, bro, I'm kind of going through it right now. At the time, I knew my dog was on his way to the other side.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I was like, I really need to, and I know myself well enough to know that if something, if there's about to be like a pivotal like moment, like a tower moment in my life, I need to lean into something positive because I know I'm going to dive in head first. And if
Mm.
I lean into something that could be detrimental to my health, I
Mm.
just know it's going to go,
Just
I'm going
like,
to be down a deep end.
you have to choose a healthy coping mechanism. That's one of those
Right.
like inflection points where you're like, I know that this is
Exactly.
likely imminent. soon.
Yep.
And it's almost like to supplement, to supplant, to like direct your energy somewhere that's
Hmm.
going to aid in your growth, right? Because that's
Yeah,
hard. Like a lot of
exactly.
people want to turn
Yeah,
to other things, alcohol, drugs,
exactly.
sex,
Right.
whatever.
1000%. So I know I'm thankful in the fact that I know I don't have an addictive like gene. I don't have that,
Mhm.
but I am a creature of habit. So
Mm.
I can fall into routines or things that don't necessarily benefit me if I allow myself to like to dive in. So I was just like, yo, I don't know when it's coming. I just know it's happening, and I just want to be able to get in here as much as I can. And at the time he was kind of going through some life things too. So it would be days where I would want to go, but he maybe would have to call out or things like that. So it was kind of spotty.
Mm.
But that first night I just got that taste because the night crew kind of got a little bit, it was a little bit more lenient. Like we could kind of do what we wanted. We had more people
Mm.
there. So to your point earlier, it was personal training, but it was group training at that time because we just got to
Mm.
have fun. Like it was
Okay.
after hours, nobody's really there necessarily. So I
Yeah.
told Benny, I was like, yo, man, I really want to come here as much as possible. Like, I don't
Mhm.
know what to do, but like, I know you got a lot going on. Is if there's any way I can just get in here and like just make this my thing, I would be so grateful. So a
Mm.
little bit of time passed by, like no more than a week or so. And after one of our sessions one night, he was like, yo, I just want to let you know, like, I got you a comp membership. You can come during the day. I want you to meet all the trainers that are here during the daytime because I really feel like you got
Wow.
something here. And he was like, you know, we can work on some things together, but this is, you know, he's like, I want to help you out
That's
with that. So
that's incredible. Wow.
yeah, so that's how I got fortunate enough to start going to Dog Pound, and then I take things like that. I hold that close to my heart. So
Mm.
every day I was in there, I was taking photos and I'm doing things to share, not in a way of being like braggadocious, like yo, I'm here, or
Mm.
whatever. But it's just like, okay, I'm so grateful for this opportunity. I want to show as
Yeah.
much love as I can and continue to
Yeah.
also inspire other people and be like,
Kind of
hey,
a
I'm diving headfirst into this like transformation of my life, not necessarily just the physical aspect, but just
mhm.
overall. What the way I look at things is how you do one thing is how you do everything. So
Mm,
if
I
you have the
agree.
discipline, if
Mhm.
you have the discipline to wake up Monday through Friday to go and drive, I know how long it takes. I don't remember exact distance. I want to say it's maybe 20 miles.
Mm.
Um, and that's one way.
Mm.
It might be a little shorter than that. I'm not 100% positive, but it takes me anywhere from 40 minutes to an hour to get there every single day. Then I have to walk through the door, strip everything away as far as like what I'm thinking about, what I'm dealing with, just any other life situations so that I can empty the tank and give everything that I have and leave it all on the floor at the gym. Because I
Mm.
say I do not drive that far every day to half-ass a workout. So
Mm.
if I have a full tank, then we're going hard that day. If I'm at
Mhm.
half, all right, we got to do what we got to do. If I'm just running on fumes, like, it might be a mobility day. We just got to do
Yeah.
some mobility movements and some accessory work and keep it
Mhm.
moving. But it's
Yeah.
all about just giving everything I have and leaving it on the floor. And for me, Dog Pound is the space that I can do that in. There's
Mhm.
something about the energy in that place, the trainers that have come in and come out, and just the revolving door of people, the clients, the quote unquote celebrities that I've developed relationships with. It's all of that, and it's
Mhm.
it's rooted in a place of love, community, and just like self improvement. Because when people walk in there, they're there to better themselves. It's
Mm.
not I'm a celebrity and I want to show off that I'm better than it. It's like, no, you struggle just like I struggle. And I'm
Yeah.
going to encourage you just the same way that you would encourage me. So for me, it removes the veil of what everybody looks to LA to be. And
Mhm.
then you walk into that place and you're like,
Yeah.
okay, I know who you are, but like you're still smiling at me and you're sweating and like, oh damn,
Like,
I
you're an
thought,
actual
damn, I
human.
thought
Oh my
that's what
God.
I'm
Like,
saying. Like really, like for real, when you
you
just human,
can't
like
bench press like 300 pounds? Wait, like, oh yeah.
man, like
No.
we give these humans this super human just like presence in our minds.
Yeah. Mhm.
And that's why they say like don't meet your heroes because you'll
Yeah.
probably be disappointed when you
Mhm.
find out like this motherfucker is just some dude from Ohio who happened to
Yeah.
find the blueprint and figured it out for himself.
It's
And
like
like
good
that's
like that though, right? It's like it's good to
right.
see celebrities as humans and be like they are not superhuman, which almost makes it seem like, okay, this is attainable. Like this, whatever I'm going for, like they've
Exactly.
done it. I see them in their human element, quote unquote, and that
Yep.
kind of gives me that hope.
Right. Exactly. I look at it from the space of, because I've had conversations with these people, and I'm not going to say names, but like, and it's not just at Dog Pound. It's just, I've been fortunate enough to have a lot of really incredible experiences in my life. And I think that's just due to, again, my nature of networking, just being a good human. But I think what happens, and this, the first time that I'll say this name because this is someone that like the friendship I actually cherish because I'm super grateful. The first person that I was ever, I guess the first celebrity that I ever encountered that reminded me of how much human nature is just a beautiful thing was Lil Wayne. So the first time that I ever met Wayne, it was in Kansas City, and this was I want to say it was the I Am Music tour. And this was the tour where he was just like falling in love with skateboarding. So every city that he stopped
Oh
at, he
yeah.
had people that were finding like skate parks or private facilities that he could go to. Cause when I tell you like Wayne loved to skate, he would, the night that we skated, we were at, it's called the Sprint Center. I think it's like the T-Mobile Center now in Kansas City, but it's an arena sold out. We were there at the show, and then, so you get to see someone literally command the attention of tens of thousands of people in real time. Like you get to watch somebody on a stage where literally every eye in that building is on them. And they harness that power and just like put on a show. And then show ends. We waited. He honestly, I want to say the show ended at like, we'll say 11. He probably didn't show up to the park until like 3:30
in the morning.
Yeah. Wayne's a vampire. We were just skating, just waiting for him to get there. So this happens, and it was the first time that I'd ever really gotten to see, because in Kansas City, like we had people that were like local celebrities. Like we had Tech Nine, but even though Tech is an international star, like his home is literally like a stone's throw away from where I grew up. So it's like to me, it's still, you know, like that's Tech. He's KC legend,
Local.
but whatever. Local, right? So like Wayne is a whole, like, to put it into perspective, when Tech Nine had a verse on, I think it was Carter 4 when Wayne was in jail. He had a verse on one of his songs. Like we went ape shit because we were like, oh, KC made it. Even though Tech was already like global, it was one of those things. So so I put it.
Well,
I give you that. Yeah, I give you that to put it into perspective. Right. So to me, to see Wayne do that on the stage, then a few hours later, see him come to the skate park and literally look at everything with childlike wonder was the coolest shit. Cause I was just like, you are just a human.
Yeah.
Like, even though like your whole thing is I am not a human being and all this stuff, like at the end of the day,
literally a
we
lyric
are all like, no, but I'm saying like at the end of the day, we are all just the same. When I'm like doing tricks and getting props from Wayne because I can technically do something better than somebody that I had idolized, like that blew my feeble little mind at the time. So then fast forward, that was 2010, I think. Fast forward to 2014-ish, 2013, 2014, whatever. We are in Tampa, Florida at a skateboard contest, Tampa Pro, which is within that bubble of skateboarding, it's one of the like most well-known and not necessarily prestigious as far as prize purse, but prestigious as far as recognition goes within skateboarding.
Yeah.
So we were at Tampa. I'm outside just like talking, chopping it up, doing as I do. Cause at that time in that space, boom. I developed a little bit of a name for myself in that space at that time. So people, you know, want to converse and whatnot. And I remember clear as day. I was standing outside. I was talking to a friend of mine, Andrew Cannon, and my back was turned to basically like the inside where the contest goes. So people, if they're coming outside, they have to walk from behind me. I don't know what's happening. So I'm in conversation, whatever, not paying attention. And I get like a tap on my arm, but not like a tap. It was more of a like a "What's up, my boy?" type situation. I was like, "What the fuck?" I look over and it's Lil Wayne, and he had. Now, when I tell you this, the way that you have to move in these things, like even as a regular civilian, like you got to kind of maneuver through shit to get, even if you want to go straight, you kind of got to like venture off and do things. Now
Mm-hmm.
imagine you are someone of his caliber he didn't really have an entourage, but he had like a lot of
I was gonna
security and
say, did
shit.
he have bodyguards and stuff? What?
Yes. So imagine like Moses parting the Red Sea, going through people just to come over to you out of the way to say hello because they saw the back of your head and recognized and wanted to make sure that you
And y'all had
like
met once at this point?
we had met. I think at this point, no, at this point I was already in the, oh shit, now this is gonna sound crazy. I was in the
Just say
the
it.
celebration music video. And in Wayne's part,
Okay.
I dap him up. So we had already had a rapport
Yeah.
because of skateboarding, but the fact that he went out of his way to
Yeah.
come over, say hello, acknowledge my presence, and then continue on, like
That's
as
amazing.
Lil Wayne, like that's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
when I bring it back all the
Humble
way
as fuck.
down,
Yeah.
it's all smoke and mirrors. We're all like, at the end of the day, he is Dwayne Carter, just like I'm Dwayne McMurray. But Lil Wayne is what the
Oh,
world
damn.
gets,
I didn't
and
even think about
STEEZUS is
that
what.
parallel.
But you know what I'm saying? He's a Libra, like so that we weigh it out on our scales. It's all about the
Yeah.
balance. Like
Yeah.
you have to be able to balance this whole like persona and lifestyle that you create for yourself. But then
Right.
you also have to be rooted in human nature and understand that like we're all still human beings. We're all trying to figure this stuff out. It's really smoke and mirrors, and sometimes people have figured out how to manipulate the smoke and mirrors enough to not get people to see what's going on behind it. And maybe
Right.
that's for privacy reasons, which is kind of the way that I lean a little bit more. But sometimes it's because it's better for people not to know the real truth. And that's not always like, it's not always going to be beneficial to the masses. However, I think sometimes people have to do that to create a certain divide between things. And if it's not rooted in evil and it's not rooted in anything malicious, you got to do what you got to do sometimes.